Hello again, fellow podcaster, and welcome back to Pod Theory. I am your host, Jason Cercone, and today we're going to take a look at the best environments to record a podcast and ones to avoid. When recording your podcast, it's important to choose a place that will deliver high quality sound. And capturing high quality sound does not require you to be in an actual studio, believe it or not. Having access to an actual recording studio is a great thing if it's at your disposal, but if not, no big deal. Your sound can still be on point if you record from the right environment. Before we get into that, let's talk microphones. Back on episode 11, I gave some recommendations for equipment. I also pointed out a way to get equipment that is not recommended. I'm going to double down on that statement again. For the sake of your podcast sound quality, do not buy used equipment. I'm not saying you have to break the bank either, but when it comes to your microphone, make sure you're doing research and finding a mic that will produce world-class sound. Don't skimp in this area. Cheap mics will produce fuzzy, unclear audio that will turn your guests off to your show altogether. Put yourself in your guest's shoes, or your guest's ears in this case. Do you like listening to something with poor audio quality? Of course not. So don't put your listeners through that torture. Get yourself a good mic right from the start. Now that you have a good mic, be sure that your audio levels are set up properly. There's nothing worse than having a show's intro hit you at one level and then blow your ears off when the host starts talking. Be sure to do mic checks on all of your equipment before you start recording and make sure everyone's mic sounds clear and is set at a reasonable volume for your listeners. Okay, let's move into talking about the recording environment. Now, without question, you want to find the most quiet room at your disposal to set up your equipment and record. Even a top-tier microphone won't salvage your podcast if you record in a noisy environment. Your recording environment is one of the most vital aspects of your podcast, so choose wisely. Take into account some of the potential background noises and distractions that could come into play while you're recording, such as heating and air conditioner units coming on, or cars passing by your house, or trains, or fans, or your computer fan, or your phone ringing, or refrigerators, or dogs barking, or cats meowing. What about kids interrupting? All of these things could potentially take place if you're not recording in the right environment. If your recording space has any of these potential quality culprits, choose another space. Unless you can turn these items off before hitting the record button, you won't want any of this noise coming across on your podcast. Remember on Full House when Joey and Uncle Jesse had the recording studio in the basement? When the red light above the stairs is on, it meant they were recording and that no one was to enter the room. Now, you may not have a red light to turn on, but you can come up with something such as a sign on the door to inform others that you're recording. To produce the best quality sound, choose an environment with natural sound-absorbing materials. Curtains and couches and carpets will all help in this fashion. Hardwood floors, concrete floors, blank walls, these can all produce an echo in your recordings that will be off-putting to your listeners, so avoid those environments at all costs. You can choose to pad the walls of your recording space with foam panels to eliminate echo if you prefer, but if the room you choose has natural sound absorption, take advantage of it. To test your room, clap your hands and listen for a slapback echo. If you hear that echo, you should choose another room or move some sound-absorbing items into that room to make it more functional. I've done some podcasts from noisy environments in the past, and believe me, not only will your recording be a bitch to edit, it will not create the best listener experience on the other end. Your quality will suffer, and subsequently, so will the growth of your podcast. You can go out today and spend thousands of dollars on equipment, but even the most expensive devices in the world will sound terrible if you don't use them properly or try to use them in an environment that isn't suitable for your podcast. Your goal is to deliver the best podcast possible to your audience. Set your standards high and never compromise the quality of your production by recording in an undesirable environment. And that will bring up the credits for this session of Pod Theory. If you are looking for a high-quality service to host your podcast, look no further than Buzzsprout. They've helped over 100,000 podcasters and counting get their message spread across the globe, and yours is next. Go to the show notes of this episode and click the link that will score you a $20 Amazon gift card for signing up for Buzzsprout today. Good talk. I'll see you back here tomorrow. This has been Jason Cercone on Pod Theory.